Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I have another layout. Actually, it's the last layout using the July Scraptastic Kit. It took me 1 hour and 40 minutes to complete. It was actually the 23rd layout I made, but because um, the video for this layout was on my hard drive, and I, was at work where I couldn't put it on my computer to process, I did the other one first, and the last one before this one. And so now I'm just going to show you this layout here. And I had that piece of pattern paper that I absolutely love. I'm pretty sure it was from My Mind's Eye with the pink and white stripe. And then the other pattern paper had 2 strips left. It was a nice pink, a dark pink, and a light pink. And I'm going to use that as a border to the left of the layout. And at the beginning of the video, I showed you that, I had 6 pictures that I wanted to scrap on this layout. It's all about the Boston waterfront, but there's no way I could get them all to fit on one layout. So what I did was I printed it off on my Canon selfie, and I put all 6 pictures into one picture, and I love that. The machine, the printer, actually chooses which picture is going to be bigger. And I love that it ended up that the picture of my husband, my son, and my daughter, and the dog walking in front of me was one of the big ones. So that worked out pretty good. And it kind of printed with like an extra at the top and the bottom, because it's actually supposed to be 8. But if you choose 8 and you put less pictures than 8, then it'll do that. And I was listening to Tuesday the other day, and she said that she couldn't do it. Tuesday, when you use your Canon selfie and you're on the photo, make sure that the button where it says OK, make sure you push upwards. Don't click OK on the picture. You have to push that little plus minus. You have to go up where it says plus copies. Click on it once and you'll see it'll say +1, and that should work if you're listening to this. So instead of hitting copy or OK, the plus sign at the top, it says the button that's around the OK button, the top, it says copies plus, push there, and it'll add that photo, and then you keep toggling between the photos with the left or the right, and then every time you see a photo that you want, you just use the top one. Anyway, I hope that helps. If not, just email me and maybe I can, walk you through it. So again, this is my favorite pattern paper from Fancy Pants, the burlap and bouquet pattern paper. I mean, this was done in July. So a lot of the pattern papers, I have no idea who made it, but that I remember because I had 2 sheets of it, and I used every pink flower there was for sure. And that stripe pink and creamish pattern paper went with that so well. And I just took it in the size that it was, and I thought, it'd be cute to, put a border of those flowers to the right of it. And then to the left is that other strip. And then at some point I'm going to, think about how else can I should learn my lesson and listen, make sure that it's recording more often. So anyway, I babbled for about 5 minutes for nothing. So I have to do it again. So what I was saying was, I love that I'm going to put those flowers in behind there, but I need to figure out how to cover those seams. And I barely have any pattern papers left. So I'm going to go into my stash and grab something out in a few minutes. And I'm going to take a few minutes to detail cut all those pink flowers. And then most of them, I'm going to tuck in behind that pattern paper. And then the biggest one, the one that was full, I'm going to end up putting it on foam tape. And I'm going to put it on top so that it really, and it's right next to it's the one that's right next to the photo. So it's really going to bring attention to the photo. And I really love that. And that's any pattern paper that the floral is really easy to cut out, I love. Some of the florals, like, they're a little too hard to cut out. Like they have flowers coming out of them, and the stem is really thin, and it's a pain to cut out. But this pattern paper was fun to cut out, so I had fun using as much as I did out of it. And this is the flower that I was saying that I'm gonna put foam tape in behind and pop it on the layout. And I mounted the photo on, and if I said this already, I'm sorry, but I don't remember what I already said before the recording stopped. But I mounted the photo on a peach cardstock, and then I use one of the last pattern paper, the green chevron, and then I'm also going to use my POW glitter paper, and I'm going to use a few strips of that. And then there was a scrap that on another layout I had tested a little heart stamp, and I'm actually going to use that pattern paper on this layout, and I'm going to use that one right there, and I'm going to use it as a ground element first of all for the photo, but also that's where I'm going to put the subtitle for the layout. So the title for the layout is Boston Waterfront, and I'm going to use Boston is going to be the gold glitter alpha that came in the kit, and the word waterfront is going to be just some letters from my stash, and it's letters that I totally love. And then I put a subtitle that says So Beautiful, So Peaceful, and I use my mini market from October Afternoon, the chalk and slate, and it really went really well with all of this. And I used quite a bit of stickers that were from the sticker sheet. I used from the My Mind's Eye sticker sheet, there's words like such a great day, and then I put that this was day 7 that we went to Boston Waterfront, and I put best, life is good, we heart you, and then I'm going to use some little asterisks from Freckled Fawn, and then I used a flare from my stash, and then again I'm going to cut up some different colored flowers just to add a touch of yellow to the layout, because one of the flares that I'm going to add to this layout has a touch of yellow. So this is where I am trying to figure out what am I going to do to cover this seam. Now the first thing I believe that I went to get was a ribbon from Stampin' Up, and it is the crisp cantaloupe, and I thought, oh, it's just, I don't know, I don't know why I don't know if it's because I didn't like it, or I'm afraid to take the first thing because then there might be something better out there. And see, that's a problem. That's why this layout took me an hour and 20 minutes instead of like 40 minutes, because I spend time going through all my washi tapes, and I have 4 containers of washi tapes. So I went through all the black ones to try to bring in some black into the layout, and then I went and looked at some pink ones and some multicolored ones and some camera ones and some film strip ones, and when I took out that ribbon the very first thing. But I mean, we scrapbook because we love it, right? It's not because it's a duty and we have to do it, and there's a time clock. So I really enjoy every single minute of it. I even enjoy organizing, which, I don't enjoy organizing anything else that is house related. So you can tell that it's because it's scrapbooking. I love anything that's scrapbooking. And so anyway, just because it took an hour and 20 minutes, it doesn't bother me. Like I had fun the whole time I did it. And when I don't feel like scrapbooking, then I just don't. I'll do something like organize. And this is where I decided, yep, I really like that ribbon. And it matched in color from last year. I don't even know. I don't think they have that ribbon anymore. I think for the colors from last year, they came out with that twine that I shared on my last haul that matches the in color. I think they got rid of the ribbon, which is kind of sad because usually what I do is as the end colors are going out, and if I had ribbons for them, before they go out, like in January, before they start getting really rare, because as they sell out after a certain time, they don't restock them. I'll check and see if I'm running low on a certain color, because there's always one color that I love more than the other, and then I'll buy another thing of ribbon. And I don't think I bought any second of those ribbons, and I love those ruffle trims, but oh well, I'm sure they'll come out with something else that I truly love, so I'm sure I won't go without. So I grabbed that anchor that was on one of the sticker sheet, and it's red, but putting it next to the other stuff that is pink, and some of them is a dark pink, you really can't tell, so I didn't mind. That's the anchor I had, so I just used it. So this is where I'm going to go on the hunt of trying to find the perfect alpha, to do my title. So I know I want to use these alphas that came in the kit to spell out Boston. And then these are, I think they're Amy Tangerine. I love the font, but it's going to be way too big. Like, it's the way the font is, it's just because some of the letters are uppercase, even though they're in the middle of the word. So I don't like how it goes right over to the other side of the layout. So I'm going to take them off and try to figure out something else. And I don't know if because see, I just put the ribbon on the left side of the layout. I don't know if I put the ribbon while I'm filming to the right above the flowers, or after I turn the camera off. But I do put another piece of that ribbon to the right side of the layout next to the flowers. So I have to pull that flower that I put the foam tape on it and then put that ribbon. Now I brought out these thickers, and they're square, and they're even worse. They go way beyond. So once I stick them on to my wax paper, a lot of times what I do is I don't take the time. Oh, this time I did. Oh, I'm surprised. Most of the time, I don't take the time to put them back where they belong. I cut out the wax paper and I stick it in with the letters because I'm kind of lazy that way. So this is the letter I'm going to decide. And I really love them. And what I did there, they were a little too white, because it's a pink on white, and my whole base is vanilla, so the white letters really popped. So I had taken my little Prima ink, and it's called Knotted Wood. So what I did was I tested it on one of the letters, and I'm just inking it over top, and then I'm going to take a Kleenex and dry it, and it turns my letters sort of vanilla-ish. So they're not starky white anymore. So then now they coordinate really well. So I'm going to put that title up there, Boston Waterfront. And this is where I decide that I'm going to add a little piece of that pink paper, pattern paper that I have at the bottom, so that it has something else that's pink at the top of the layout, because I had that pattern paper with the little heart, and then the other one at the top kind of balances it off. And I'm sorry if I'm sort of all over the place, but I finished my shifts yesterday morning. I slept for a little bit, and then I got up and I did a voiceover, and then I just cleaned for 3 hours because I knew that my grandson was coming, and then I made supper, with that and everything, and did a whole bunch of laundries and everything, because I knew that he was going to be here, for 4 or 5 days, and I didn't want to do anything that I didn't have to do while he was here. So I did like the bathroom, and vacuuming I have to do every day, but I did a in detail vacuuming yesterday. So, and then he didn't sleep very well last night, and I think it's because he's so happy to see us that he keeps waking up and touching to see if I'm there, and then he comes over and gives me a big kiss and a hug, and then he snuggles way right up, so it wakes me up, and then I have to wait till he falls asleep again, and then I have to push him over because I can't sleep with him all bundled up on me like that because I have a sore shoulder and it just kills my shoulder. But I just hug him and put him back to sleep and then push him over. So I'm just like, whoa, and then I have an eye infection. And so it's just like paining, and I'm just having a hard time concentrating. So if I'm all over the place, I apologize. Hopefully it's still bearable to listen to. But I just put him down for the night, and so I just thought I would do this voiceover so that it'd be ready for tomorrow. And these flares right here, they kind of have a backing to them, so you can't put like a foam dot on them because it makes them huge. So I just put some glue dots, and this is where I took my October afternoon chalk and slate in the mini market, and then I spelled so beautiful, so peaceful. So this is where and I kind of said the story before, we had kind of parked the car underground, and then we knew that the waterfront was like that away. So then we got out of the building, and then we went and walked along the waterfront. Now I have to admit, me and my husband thought it was awesome. We just loved it. It was so peaceful, and there was boats, in the water, and there was people just all over, on the waterfront, and they would stop us and pet the dog and ask what kind of dog it was and what's his name. And the kids thought it was awfully boring. The kids like water parks and, like going to amusement parks and that kind of stuff. And this time was really sort of a laid back vacation because we totally needed it. There was an amusement park, a Six Flag, about an hour and a half away, and they totally tried to wrap us up into going. And I said, no, like, you guys wanted to bring the dog. We cannot go to a water park and leave the dog for like 10 hours in a cage, like, nope. So we didn't do it. But anyway, so I have to say, me and my husband enjoyed it a little bit more than the kids, but they loved walking around Boston and stuff and seeing the big buildings. And if you saw there, I took my India ink, and one of the splat went boom right on my ribbon. And of course, ribbon sucks up ink, so it made a big mess. So plan B, I went to my fancy pants burlaps and bouquet pattern papers, and I went and found a bigger flower. And this is one of the flowers that I said there has little stems, so it's a little pain to cut, but I just kind of cut grossly around it and, not tightly around it. So that was fine, just because I needed something that was really leafy and kind of went, kind of spread out so I could cover that ink mess. And you know what? I'm kind of happy that happened, because I kind of like it more because there was flowers all on the right side and there was none on the left. So that little mistake just kind of made my page balance even a little bit more. And so I'm going to have to pull the flare up and that stuff. And then there was only 2 spots that you could see. So then I just added a little spot of India ink, and I'm showing you that, oops, I made a boo-boo, but that's okay. That's the great thing about scrapbooking. Anything that you think, oh no, you can fix it. And really, if you can't fix it, you can take most of the stuff off, and then you end up throwing a little piece of cardstock, and maybe, a half a sheet of pattern paper or something like that. So really, $1.50. And for the number of time that happens, there's more times that you can fix it than times that you can't fix it. So just have to, that's usually when something fun and happy happens, like I said. Because this happened, then I totally balanced my layout to the left. And then I said, oh yeah, now I have a yellow flare. I added a yellow flower. I'm going to add another yellow flower. I'm going to tuck it in behind that border there and then next to the title. And yes, I was right. I didn't add the ribbon until the camera was off. So you're going to see it in the close-ups that I did add the ribbon to the right of the layout. So that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching and thank you for all your comments and your likes. I really appreciate it. Bye.